Oh, no. Hey, welcome back to the Sunday Serving channel where you come for gospel, hope, joy, message. What a beautiful day. The Lord has created it. Here we are in this wonderful garden full of food. I was just checking the heritage tomatoes here. There's none ripe. Maybe that's appropriate because today, if we continue on with the gospel reading from the Sermon on the Mount, it talks about fasting. So, not a really good setting to talk about fasting, except if there's no tomatoes in the tomato patch, then we kind of have to fast. So, well, let's get to the gospel. Matthew chapter 6. We'll read this and see if we can think what it means today. What does it mean for you, for me? Matthew chapter 6, starting at verse 16, it says, Jesus is teaching this, he's speaking, and when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces that their fasting may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, that your fasting may not be seen by others, but by your Father who is in heaven. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Let's talk about that. That's interesting. That's not, Jesus doesn't say if you fast. He says when you fast. So he's taking that for granted. So it's a good thing there were no tomatoes in there. We got to go without them today. He says when you fast. But what's the point here? Okay, again, this theme of don't be a hypocrite. What does that actually mean? Being a hypocrite. Isn't it really when it's self-interest? If I'm doing something as a show to make an impression to others, then I'm trying to get my my joy, my satisfaction out of what other people think. It's totally false. Because whatever we do, and it's the whole theme of this gospel here, the teaching of Jesus, is about the attitude of the heart. What do you do? Mean it, be genuine, do it for God. So fasting, depriving ourselves of some food or enjoyment of eating or even the necessity of eating for a period of time, kind of makes us think about prayer, about relying on God. You know, maybe we hurt a little bit. We have those hunger pangs and we think about the times that Jesus was hungry. We think about other people that are hungry. And we can concentrate on prayer. I think that's the point of fasting. And Jesus says, do it for God. Do it in secret. And God who sees in secret will reward you. If you don't, if you do it and you make a show out of it, and the same thing with prayer we talked about last week. If you do it for the show, Jesus is saying here, you're getting your reward now. So why should God answer your prayers? Why should he reward your fasting if you're doing it as a show? So pretty simple message. Again, against hypocrisy and talking about make your heart true and genuine for God, for Jesus, for the kingdom. And of course that means for others. So he goes on from that. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust destroys and where thieves do not break in and steal. Love, this line is important. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So now we're going from fasting to treasures. And treasures can be, well, what can they be? And I guess the point here is material treasures, things that we build up on this earth here, money or possessions or toys or equipment or, things that make our lives happy and comfortable. Jesus is saying, you lay that up on earth, there's no future in that. That's not what's going to make you happy. Treasures in heaven is what you should be after. What are treasures in heaven? Well, it's doing the will of God. It's serving. It's loving. it's serving the poor, it's giving to others, and it's those kinds of good deeds that God sees, and there will be a reward in heaven. That's treasure in heaven. So, you know, the old saying goes, it's not many hearses that are followed by U-Haul trailers or Brinks trucks. Whatever we build up here, monies, possessions, we can't bring that with us when we die. That's not for the life eternal, for the heavenly life. That treasure in heaven is whatever we've done that serves God, that serves Jesus. And that's what we should be after. And the amazing thing is, if we lay up that kind of treasure by using our lives to bring joy to others, to serve others, to share, there's nothing wrong with material possessions that are necessary. Look at it, this garden is full of, it doesn't last very long, but beautiful vegetables. You know, the gardener could just save that all for himself and they'd rot. Or he can share them, and then he has the joy of giving to others. And that's the kind of treasure in heaven. When you give, it multiplies. So give to God, give to others. That's treasure in heaven. It'll multiply. And you'll be happy. The trick is, the amazing thing is, you're happy on this earth and in the next. But Jesus goes on here, says, the eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? I love that kind of language. It's a bit mysterious, right? So why would he go from talking about treasure, talking about fasting, to the eye and light? It's a good question to think about, but I think the eye is our perception of the world, right? So, and we need light. And what he's saying, I think, is if we lay up our treasure in heaven, if we follow Jesus' commands, if we do things for others, if we do them for the right reasons, that brings light into our vision through our eye. If we are selfish, hypocrisy is selfish, we care about our image. If we lay up treasures, money, possessions for ourselves, we're looking down, we're looking at false things. That's darkness. And then that darkness blinds. There's no vision. You can't see anything. So what are you looking at? Is it heavenly things or is it earthly things? And if it's heavenly things, eternal things that serve Jesus, that's light. That's joy. That brings beauty. And I love this when it says, but if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. I mean, I think there was a saying in Israel that the evil eye, right? The evil eye of someone is if you're jealous or if you're covetous and you look at someone and you kind of wish what they had was yours. That's darkness. Okay, jealousy leads to anger and murder. Light, genuineness, giving to others leads to joy, and that's true treasure. Then he goes right on and says, no one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. So there we have it. Pick. There are two roads, two ways. Light, darkness, good, evil. It's very simple. Choose good, choose light, choose serving, choose giving. Here Jesus is saying choose God or choose mammon. Mammon is a word that encompasses everything that's earthly, you know. Same thing, possessions, money for ourselves. That's serving mammon. That's not the way of Jesus. But we have to pick. We have to pick God. If we serve God, we are not going to care about our possessions, our wealth, our reputation even. We're just going to live for Jesus. Or we choose the other way where we think about ourselves and we gain wealth, influence, power, whatever it is. And that's not the godly way to live. So God bless you. Choose the way of life, of light, of love, and you will be blessed. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week. Come on, Delta.